ye gidi se Ghana ni bi ekwakoto aba eso tumenya enyina so soronko a obegyina de to aba eya se obi beko so kwakoto aba na ode enyina so bi a eye nkontompo no krenim ya chia no na nipa no begyina so da kwakoto aba aso to aba ne wie na echiri obehu no kra wumu a eya na edin ema nipa no. Unfortunately, no. Why now you have to deal with this for almost about 4 years. As we say in your kwan as ya kwato aba ne biem. Enu nti ene ye de sa dwumedie aba. Aha. Yen kasa enkakasa endi atem. Aha. Yen kasa ntia obia de ka ye no kre. Send asem no sitie no na e de ato. Enchemu e wo ho no na e de aba. Se ne be ya se wo kwato aba na se wo susu hu esi ginaye a wo gina so pa wo de be gina na wo de esi ginaye no efie na kopem December 7th kwesi ada bia ene ya wada bia no oba be kaye ho na ye didi nkomo. Every episode ye be fa sector by sector by sector ya to ye boase ye no nyina etu sa akwantuo no bibia free a ya ba bedru ha bibia ye ko dia MPP aban be efie wotwe a Ghana for madaroma mode edwuma hye yensa dia yetumi aye dia ka ye ntumi yeye ene Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia dai so ye ne liswade hu owo e magana man die nti asa dwumedi we ehu hia no enche bia be ka ho asem but enwumre no almost about 6 national channels and enkomodie yehwe also live across the country. So there were over 20 community radio stations across the country in the various regions and so yetie na ne kase pa ye over 1,100 community information centers me no kase omu nyina afasa dwumedie a bibia wo bia wo Ghana afa na nyina no obeti enka ebusiafo abato ho ewo nsunsanso oto abapa obenya so nsunsanso pa oto ababone so a obetu enya so nsunsanso bone na de tie ne se enne akopem December 7th esa de esi pan de esi anano ene ehu nsunsanso a yehu yenti ye de ye wo New Patriotic Party ye wo gidie kase pa se ye fa sector by sector by sector ne ye ka se ye hwehwem ne ya compare ye dwumedi a ye di ene omo ne ye pre omo so munya ho akwan de omo ye ya ye wo gidie kase pa se ya boy homoden no kre bebre ne yaye bebre so na aka ye nya wie ye ne mum se ne be ya de si in the year 2008 ensensi bi emunti ehu be hia se ye be ma nkomodie na koso a kopo membra ye nyina betumi ehu se bibie eduru de sei ene ye de Ghana efaso a ebeboae mentwe ya dwen ko bibi kakra mo be kaya in the year 2000 omampanin kufo eba bedi ade in the year 2000 yema bebre ena otumi ye in fact at the time omampanin kufo ba abe mu no na Ghana ye wo yonkotodwe ni mu na no ma sei na no ma atete apansam ya yaresa ne nkoyie ya kwan ne nkoyie ye nwumasem ne nkoyie ye sikasem ne nkoyie almost everything was aground omampanin kufo between the year 2000 to 2008 ansa no befi aban mu no no man we opejan yakoyedim akwakodum pempenso bi a na ye say we're in the golden age of business. You say Ghana, the gateway to Africa. It's a world Africa memua. You know the shining black star. Or men be a per se, or near an anipe be a per se, or near Kitamudi. Between the year 2000 and 2008, in the part President Kofoye Nina, Edu baby no, now Wofie, na banks about Jose, Bejebosiana for Yeduma, Barclays Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, Stanbic Bank, Fidelity Bank. These banks were coming to our homes. See, Mbeje Bosia, the Yafanya Juma, Omo de Tata yen. On my way, MPP are buying enemy who say, see it to me for my Nisika, the bo or mining winina aquama. National health insurance in a be a crime who say and found baby a my way mu a bed then say Sabine the castle of boa ube to me I can say or buy 1 year amount. The national be cash and carry if you at a point in time my room answer the MPP by Babano. Nas Sebe, so when you car shiampo near the Ukodu hospital. Nase ye the sasha obotomni who says Sika Wumua, next for Bejawa to say Ubusi Nimra, no better ya answer your help. Near friend the cash and carry. On my penny for be free. On my way, a be a near refi. At some point in time in our lives, not finance minister, a court parliament or kind budgeter, or kind maternal mortality rate, any infant mortality rate. Just say, and Colorado do a year qua warso, or maku, and a year ma menumwa, or mokwa warso, sebi, almost sure monqua. That is how low we were as a country. And there was only one reason. Sam Breno, not Sika. Na ya wofo ya ma menom ne ye papanom e de be ko hospital ne age omowo esan cash carry e bi ni wonti obetine fie no wa prayer so bewo e to de bi a moje tu na wie na age nsem no ase ya fa na se de ne ko hospital ye be du hospital no na wa hwe no kwa enti ye ko parliament ye ko kan ye budget a ye ko kenkan dodo a afemu no ye hwere omo o mampanin kufo hu wei e ma MPP aban e ko face ka ba ye se ye ntumi ntina se no man no ye nkeka ko saa Inti or the free maternal care den buy name no ka say sa statistics na ye kenkai embre bi atwem no ene ye free ho omampeni kofo akwan insuo enwuma esika sem toto ani ye bibia ko nanim prekope enso mo be kai bribi ye do the year 2008 on my way mu ye nyina be dia dance ye say omampeni kofo benya akwanhia kakra. That was the time when America global economic crunch. On real estate, once and some about Wall Street, once Kasama Basa, a career self and in the year 2008. Safi Nimuno, 2008, I na Oman Peninku for Yakwa to Abano, Safi Nimuno, na fuel a shorty or Ghana. Ope petrol at all, over to me a line, bear 2 days, and say when you're 1 gallon at all. Safi Nimuno, and brand na fuel na shorter, na fuel prices and so as I day, a costro. That same year, in the year 2008, and I insuo a shorty wa Ghana ha, and cran chromu cra na ye and cran cro ye ko pomuno. A month for sorry on a pa, omukra gallons yellow, and omodenam a pensu, a do baby na and cran chromua, this year the gallon yellow na ko sensu e wo gotemu. And then a mobekaya a mark of 4 gallon a buyer. A busia for a send the how me no winty. I want them winty. And the partner president Kofo aye nyina be 2008 no na ehun sem ka ayeden. Of course opposition for ye ndey omo ne ye epre akonyu ye ne omo san adi sa adwumadi ye dia omo ye na nei enu bi pepe na 2008 omo mpeni Kofo gya ohaw mienu omo ye enti omo hu so ohaw aba omo hu se Ghana fo ni atane kakra enti quickly na omo start ye so omo di propaganda twist skew and omo de nam nti asem no edase ya no machia to say ye tuntum omo si fita omo ko print papers e de nante Ghana ha nyina asem hwe omo mpeni Kofo ne mpeni fo ya kronfo omo wi Ghana ske nyina NIB bank statement GCB bank statement ene hu ekone aba edu baby krampo no ene omo general secretary o ti akonyo so general secretary of omo party no e publish one newspaper mu say omo mpeni Kofo ene na ban Ewia Ghana gold the World Bank of Ghana nyina e de sa gold no e kwa abrechi e ma Bank of Ghana vote na gold ni gum no aye empty me wo video no me bo akere mo na asem okawie na afedie Ghana fo gina so etie om of course na ho chaba nso ni ho e kan say petrol pa eden enti say obeka kire me say me to abenti aban na wo ho na be de say metie aban no. In spite of all the things no man penin Kofo aye no inti Ghana for eto and trolling contempo na NDC for ene omo general secretary ni for mo nyina yi omo to ma aye no e me to abatia o man penin Kofo ene na ban na in the year 2025 January 2009 January ye to aba mo afedie omo be form omo government omo co vetting omo nam omo bo apro na ebi so mo say ensem a mo ka for mampeni kofo na MPP aban ho se na mo say omo wie sika omo wie gold omo yesi no anya bia eho asem etesen ebusafo mo me hwe dia esie.
The Lens newspaper reported that the NPP government has sold off the gold reserves of this country, all the gold reserves of this country. Can you tell us whether it's one of the propaganda that your newspaper is to churn out, or you have facts as to the quantum of the gold, the value of the gold, and the buyer of the gold? Can you tell us?
Yeah, before I can answer that, it's important for the honorable member, Mr. Chairman, to apprise me of exactly what he's talking about. As far as I know, there was a report on the web, I think before election, and that report was killed by various newspapers in the country. I think it was not just papers who were even pro-NDC, there were also other papers that killed it. If that's the report you're talking about, clearly that report did not generate from the Lens newspaper at all.
So you carried a report that you didn't have evidential support for. Is that what you're telling us? That you were the conveyor belt of somebody else's story, and you didn't have any evidential support at all, that the government of the NPP has sold all the gold reserves of this country? Is that the kind of thing that you want people to be doing in the Ministry of Finance? The Lens newspaper reported that the NPP government has sold off the gold reserves of this country, all the gold reserves of this country. Can you tell us whether it's one of the propaganda that your newspaper is to churn out, or you have facts as to the quantum of the gold, the value of the gold, and the buyer of the gold? Can you tell us?
Yeah, before I can answer that, it's important for the honorable member, Mr. Chairman, to apprise me of exactly what he's talking about. As far as I know, there was a report on the web, I think before election, and that report was killed by various newspapers in the country. I think it was not just papers who were even pro-NDC, there were also other papers that killed it. If that's the report you're talking about, clearly that report did not generate from the Lens newspaper at all.
So you carried a report that you didn't have evidential support for. Is that what you're telling us? That you were the conveyor belt of somebody else's story, and you didn't have any evidential support at all, that the government of the NPP has sold all the gold reserves of this country? Is that the kind of thing that you want people to be doing in the Ministry of Finance? The Lens newspaper reported that the NPP government has sold off the gold reserves of this country, all the gold reserves of this country. Can you tell us whether it's one of the propaganda that your newspaper is to churn out, or you have facts as to the quantum of the gold?
And in the way, say omoka ensem akese. In the way, ensem akese, and a year call into the year 2008 elections. Omoka say pepe. Now, ohe ensem omoka in the year 2008. Now, this year, there is no difference because they're the same group of people. Now, the point here is this: abide there, you say, can the pa, yen can't say we can the papa, what be a just or how near manunu emba. Nemo, the difference between Kendinia and a leader, or you're very good, no? Any leader, wasano, eye. Baako so how near mane ne ba oto ne sako wiem na ose oni hu nyanu bia bibie ne wo be yafa ho bibie ne wo betumi yafa ho enye dia mo beka na otie waye odwanfun kendifo papa de nipa odi nipa anim na so how near mane ba okase megidi se bibie edu nyoma mo ayeden enso anamo a megidi se ebetumi etu ne yie fi oha no mu eninie. The difference between a very bad leader and a good leader is that the good leader, in the midst of crisis, in the midst of challenges, would work together with the people, drive the people, and get them out of the challenges. But what these opponents, what they do is that when they are in opposition, they write only on the ills, misrepresent it, peddle falsehood, turn it, exaggerate it, build on the emotions of the people so they can get power. And then when they get power, the consequences, any day in the year 2016, it's a moon, and then Papa na oka say ya, or say in some or can 2008, what by minister for the own year no, or say in some na me carry me na me nyina so bia o, na na nkrofo oka na me so me den be KB, but the people of Ghana in 2008 took a decision based on science some na wodi newspaper no e publish here no. Afi be man nyina so a, or say me nyina so. I can tell you say pe and omodi yen ebeko in the year 2024 elections. Say yamayeni ayeden under hwa dodo na ban yaye in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of road infrastructure, agriculture, industrialization, a lot of things na ban we yebaye yetu media to akwemu ba yejitum. If the year 2020 a COVID baye along the line 2022 2023 2021 Ukraine-Russian war ebeka ho ene or how bebre akoso we ase afa na nyina enya ebedi adanse say almost every country is working hard to get out of this economic crisis. The ekomu no ye hu bi da since 1920. The last time we ase experienced the ekomu no was during the Spanish flu 1918 thereabout. Inti ye jitum say definitely the economy no ho akakakra. Your macroeconomic indicators no ehwa kakakra na mum ebusafo ye bedi o how ba ko nechi ne yato enepa na ayaye ni nyina egu ana based on so how ba ko nti ene me no kasa yi NDC for ennam no mo sikrom no mo kan nsem a enim nsem a ese nokre eno bode nam na eyetietia se ya no mo biem no ma ye ne kese. We have always admitted as a country, as a government, say, a macroeconomic indicators since 2020 has been difficult, and we saw it. We knew that we're going to go through these challenges based on what we're experiencing in the year 2020. But the government had to take a decision. That decision was that we had to do whatever we had to do to fix our health system and make sure that we save lives at that crucial moment. And that no matter how bad our economy will be hit, we would work hard to get out of it. And that is why every day, and they be a year your boy home modern say, ye ne Ghana for be kabum, near Tenet Niama, near Boabo Niama no, ye film. And ye be whilst we work on these things, do we throw away all the good things we have done as a government? Do we throw away all the good things we have achieved as a country? All the successes I are achieving? All the great things we have done as a country in the past 7 years, we don't do it that way. What you do is that protect it, consolidate it, and the power now we are not the aka. Whilst you are protecting it, what could the aka unye and unti and the yeka say omo kwa omo ba omo tuniama egun framemu edane dane niama eden trone nkonto femu no yama yeninda ho ne yenkai say ene pa ya na yetumi ababedu bebi edu no emra so say yenkoye mistake aye no president Kofo Abreso no 2008 yenkoye sa mistake ne biem na mom yebema aban we kwan na ene pa ya yetumi aboho ban na de aka yentumi ye no yetumi aye between the year 2009 and 2016 President Kofo banks na no mo buy ho efiefie mu se yembeje bosia no ye kodu 2016 na banks na gu ukọ bank se ukoji usika yes system no ko down wa wo deposit a wo de akoto ho no utumi di ekire 1 week na wo nsenya ka usika wo tro check wo sika 20,000 a bank in the year 2016 wo tro check se wo pesika 10,000 na ye tie ntumi nya 10,000 ma ye benya 5,000 amount banks na asa 2008 no mo di ekise yembeje bosia no na baby o madru na make catch in the year 2016 no aban NDC aban efa Ghana fosika edema banks no so omo hwe no momfa emboa no momfa resuscitate banks no these banks after receiving aban sika esan shiska no some of the banks aban emo musika NDC aban emo musika 2 times 3 times so mo hwe no mo famboa na banks no ntumi nyina mo nan so omo san hye sika no millions of Ghanaians ene ye ba aban mu na omo deposit eye at risk edru baby no na ayem hye kra ba say dodo no deposit mpo ye den ebe hye. It had to take the same MPP government to come back in the year 2017 to fix our financial sector. The same MPP government. Inti ebre bia na ye ba na ye be siesie no. Na ya na dum pempeso a ye du a ye betumi akoye nimu a ye be san so ejai mu amomo no ma se abese ne bi mu ana. Na bebia ya be dri ya build ade yi ya be siesie ade ama ye dum pempenso bi. No kre aka ba ko mienu bi a ehode ye. Ye nyina agi tum se enya ensiye inflation nsam enya ensiye. Ye forest exchange nsam enya ensiye. Bebia ye dru no sa niema we eye no ma ese etumi di eni edi eche na ye fixe. Na nye bia ye bedi omokasa omoka na yakase esa ne sa noma ba ko mienu we nti ene pa yetuma nyina ye ngja nto nchen na ye san fa oman ne nshom nsa no mo san be sei ne biem no mo sei ne wi a na ye san fa the same MPP aban say ye san bra na ye san be siesie no yes what happens is that ye first 4 years na nkase se yetumi de mo oban no konanim no you spend this time nyina fixing their mess. You be fix it be you know. Na fe ne ye ba be ye bibi ama ya yankasa envisage. Then we encounter a lot of challenges. That is why we are saying that we want you on a journey with us towards election 2024. Let us separate the facts from the noise. Let's separate the truth from propaganda. Yenye no krano emfi ntwonim. Yemfa no krano nto abonten. Na yema Ghana ni bi okokoto ababia. Enya enyina so soronko a obegyina so ayden ato aba. Ene kakra bi ena menum beka ene bibi kakra bi na menum beka but if we na kopem 7 December there be rest assured say kwesiada ne ya wada bia no ye be hia wa ha ne ya pensem nsemu ne ya biebie nsemu aha no krenko an ye beka truth and truth only yen dia tem yen tietiem yen kasenti obia yen kasenti apeni bia so ye PMP so ye PPP so ye NDC yen kasenti ano yen yantete yesa ye die ne se dia ye ene ebeka ho asem dia ye betumi aye asenyomo ene ye beka dia yesusu se ye ba ye be ye ene ye betumi aka ma betumi aka che Ghana fo ye hwe nyina ene se between yen ene yen NDC die adwuma ye besi omo pa no kre ebi aka esese ye but yen to me nkase ye be jamomo e makakra na ya ye no omo aba bese no already omo ka che se omo no mani bebre ya kase ye ba ye be ye no omo ni gidie wom ade ba ko ene ye critical ene menemu beche na makaka ye nyina se anye so ekrampo no ese ye bo saade no ho bae omampani dada osan apre akonya ne biom aka che dada se ono onni gidie e wo se ye be maga na ni bia kwan se onko school free ono na dwi mu no onni gidie wom. The question is between the MPP and the NDC, who do you trust to manage your education for you? Education is the bedrock of every economy. Education is the bedrock of every society. Education pe enti nene ama ho kwan na miracles abi feel late ekapema bejede betumeti ya meni mudi nkomo. Senya education a anka me ne hwan na me free bepo yi so esenya bankran ene mo abedi nkomo. Wa wo hwe me a wo kuku a wo ekuase wo mfra no ana wo esojaman enum wo ba wo fase. The only way a obenya ho kwan no so ene sikeniba etumi atena daba komedi nkomo ene education. Ye education ho ehyehyeye ene ntotoye etesen. Ye ba abemu in the year 2017. Na Ghana ye education in semono asay. And that is the truth. Oka omo say mayenka ebusuafo no krepa ne say ye ba abemu no na ye education no asay. Mo beka ya omampeni abereche Dr. Pakwesi Emisata mo kai ne re Mrs. Emisata okwa program bi ebu akwa south oni teacher for the school for akwa kodin komo ne ade mebo video no every any moment from now teacher for catch and say yes sir ye pe chalk near their tro near their chen kola na de ebusa for me ntie their vice president at that time in the year 2016 or catch a Ghana for, or catch a Colano, a catch a teacher for them. Omienti, Sima Nembra.
What the Yapa say, talk so, who is that me? Men will talk. Men will talk and men will talk.
I will not provide your school with chalk today, and I will not provide it tomorrow. The Parent Teacher Association can go and get a chalk.
Books, uniform. And say, "Yasebo." Box, Bako, the boy, Yading. What the Yapa say, talk so, who is that me? Men will talk. Men will talk and men will talk.
I will not provide your school with chalk today, and I will not provide it tomorrow. The Parent Teacher Association can go and get a chalk.
Books, uniform. And say, "Yasebo." Box, Bako, the boy, Yading. What the Yapa say, talk so, who is that me? Men will talk. Men will talk and men will talk.
I will not provide your school with chalk today, and I will not provide it tomorrow. The Parent Teacher Association can go and get a chalk.
Books, uniform. And say,
Ebusafo, enye me ena meka wo. We de yankasa yasumwa. Dia situation na ne wom. Eno no. Say common chalk. Chalk from Kolakra no na Edin. Chalk crampo no na Edin. Chalk and Kola de betrade. Edbe suya de kwanede. To the extent say na omampenia be de cheyire catch the teacher for ne say so mo to be to chalk omo chalk nde omo chalk china. That is how low our education was under their regime. That is how bad education in this country was under their regime. That is how unsympathetic they were to the needs of this country under their regime. That is how arrogant they were when they were in power. That is how bad they managed our concerns while they were in power. MPP, yeba ya ni yejitum. Ye nimse na ye education infrastructure gap bebre ewum. But quickly, every region, almost all the 16 regions are, you'd realize say, to me, I'm providing a certain level of infrastructure intervention. Okwa half a region, almost about 124, 763 for Ashanti region, 138 for Bunu East, 189, 413 for Eastern, Greater Accra 201, Northern 241, all the way to Western region. Between the year 2017 and 2024, this is what we've been able to do in terms of infrastructure intervention for this country. And yeah, no pencil. Oko, your friend is saying ICT infrastructure. You'd realize that for each of the regions, and ICT is one of the things I hear as a government. Yeah, you're spending so much on. Almost every region, you're investing in infrastructure in ICT to ensure say and Kolano ebenya your friend is saying sa modern way of learning no almost too many other children from other parts of the world are competing. And so you realize that for each of the regions, buying and making sure say you invest in ICT infrastructure. And this ICT infrastructure, and university for your primary school, any junior high school for assembly king. These are infrastructure intervention for Nkola Ewo primary any basic school to be able to study. It's a very important say you better say no more way say you buy no na matter say, and as a government you to your boss and you have kakra to make sure say akwale bia ewo Ghana half an bia no ebetumi nya homesua no so emfaso. Now oko kindergarten say ya you say a lot of our communities across the country at the KG level no really they are almost young say never do kindergarten stage na or the neco private school. Are then a buying schools who na parents in baby na pe nkola kindergarten no. It's simply because nkola ni baby na kindergarten no. And I say public kindergarten schools no. It does infrastructure ni new and infrastructure ni poor. In fact, a lot of the KGs are babe 2 year no mo ti apatasia omusu yande. And then no a buying provided close to about 795 additional KG blocks in this country to augment what is already in existence. And you know, what is even more distinctive about Abanwe KGs na yesi they say you provided modern kindergartens for Nkolano, modern kindergartens for Nkolano. And see, look at this classroom block. This KG block ewa kwabenya udu kwabenya atomic down wa unsa ufi atomic madina side wa unsa nifa so ubengu school no ho we eye KG eye aban KG o enye ye ka de say enye private school aban KG ena ye si ama your friend is saying nkola omo kwabenya ne mpotemu a omo suade. Now the question is, say ye to be ababedru sampempensu we. Yes, see such a modern facility. Look at the facilities in the KG. With the wa for when you say a bank KG block. It is here. How many a friend is saying private KG square bit to me any compete and I'm wushi. This is a modern KG. Musha smart blackboard and collect you see a dear omo PowerPoint omo do see there. I just say, look at this. This is the next chapter of Ghana's kindergarten, and this is what we talk about. What we mean, we talk about the next chapter. This is where we are taking Ghana's KG. Now, moving forward, all public KGs are buying airbabesi going into the future. No, this type of kindergartens are yeduchi akolei. Say enya na nado dan kweku fado ndo taba mood ba mi adaroma anka odon okonya tablet wa he no de sua de. But this is what we can do as a government. This is what we think that Ghana deserves. This is what we believe that Ghanaian child also deserves. Because we yourself and nyina no aha na nkola nyina eko na de ye ne say sikaniba ye wo na onya 3 months okra tablet na he anybody ye say no deserve so no so be sua de o tablet so na nado dan kweku fado ndo taba mood ba mi a ene MPP aban say there be. Every child deserves to also have a tablet and use one. If you are young primary education, now not done for the MPP are buying. For the record, you provided additional 1,217 public primary schools. Yadabeka, they are a whole other than 1,217. It was your 1,217. It is Obia catcher will say, yes, ya. Catcher and say, we transfer and yanokre. Yes, wow. You sound so added in such a baby about primary education. You the National Standardized Test System for Primary 2 and 4. Osha, you'd realize that Enkanono, not Enkola Omutumi Kinkain, by the time I'm primary 2, I'll copy primary 4, no, not our film. Ntakola call Aban school, yes, you Aban school there. Odu class 2, class 4 kra onima kenkan and so called private school class 1 na or kind ade na ade ebusuafo enne me no ka say based on intervention abide by since 2017 bepem 90 nkola just about 2% per and as at 2015 now omo primary 2 a omo to make kenkan enne based on reforms e dey abenti no nkola na omo to make kenkan by primary 2 no a movie called 38%. This is what we call progress. This is what we call transformation. This is what we call reformation. Enti saban biaba na nkola na aban dada na oho no nkola mo primary 2 omutumi ka dey 2%. Aban biaba o de sakrai bebre aba ene apeja akọ 38%. Obi say sisa sa aban na wo peja dey na akọ 38% no na fa koma dey o de 2% no. Enti asie bemu a eyeye. Primary schools na yesi ni bebre bi nie oko asokwa adansi asokwa adembra primary oko akachi primary afam plain south oko labando nampani primary school pandai oko agbogba anglican cluster school guys, a whole list of them ni nyina ewo ho and ye be say feed kono we are going to publish all these documents. Ye be publish afa baby a newspaper mkere beba na obie to menya bia kan because we don't want we want to make sure say akole bia ebe to mienya ade adusua papa eden esua mobeka ya embra o mampeni nkofo ba aba mu na Ghana ha nkola bebre ka trefi om nko school UNESCO for reports any ade na nkola dodo eso nko school. It took a while and o mampeni nkofo yes hwehwe mo no say one of the main reasons why in Kolani Bebre ekatrefi omunko primary school ni GHS no, it was because of poverty. Ohia ahochre nti education became a privilege for the few, for the rich. Meanwhile, na your constitution no 1992 ya tro wo mu say e say ma basic education free, compulsory, kolebia, and yet it was not implemented. Omampeni kofo baye no, he ensured say obema basic education actually free. Oka say na menka na it was an MPP government who made basic education truly free and made sure say all barriers including cost will be taken out. When I have video way, this was when Omampeni Kofo during an MPP era was actually launching the free compulsory universal basic education to ensure say Ghana ni bia or what Ghana half an nyina ebetume school aye den akọ.
Today is a very special day all over Ghana because today is the first day indeed for the implementation of the new educational reform policy. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And this policy is being launched for all of Ghana. That I'm here in Savologo to be part of this first day at school ceremony to send a message to all of you. Government has its top priority policy of human resource development. And this is why government has made it compulsory that from now on, education, formal education begins with kindergarten. All the children of Ghana at age 4, like my grandchildren in the front desk here, till they are about age 15. No parent or community can make an excuse out of poverty. Poverty does not come in at all. The state is going to look after the children, pay the school fees for all of them. So community should ensure that all these children who are being registered today will stay in school from age 4 right through age 15. Today is a very special day all over Ghana because today is the first day indeed for the implementation of the new educational reform policy. I'm sure you've all heard of it. And this policy is being launched for all of Ghana. That I'm here in Savologo to be part of this first day at school ceremony to send a message to all of you. Government has its top priority policy of human resource development. And this is why government has made it compulsory that from now on, education, formal education begins with kindergarten. All the children of Ghana at age 4, like my grandchildren in the front desk here, till they are about age 15. No parent or community can make an excuse out of poverty. Poverty does not come in at all. The state is going to look after the children, pay the school fees for all of them. So community should ensure that all these children who are being registered today will stay in school from age 4 right through age 15. Today is a very special
Inti ebusiafo se wohwe nkola na kofo ejina omanimo ne omo kasa na omampeni kofo ankasa enum tun kai say cost should no longer be an issue for the Ghanaian child at the basic level. Cost should no longer be an issue for the Ghanaian child at the basic level. It was obvious that poverty was destroying the future of the young children of this country. It was very obvious. Now, we should call it a na say you moving towards this age of digitalization to have this kind of environment for our children. Na say obi catcher say yenjai we ni yenkofa bibi fofra clearly nipa no oye enemy of the state. Ene yenye be dia dance say it's an FQ by President Kufuor actualizing yinti within that period immediately numbers no double ye edu baby kura no president ko fo hu say in spite of fees no kura we ye free ho ama education no akwakoye free at the basic level no still ampo na ebi mu entumi for mumba ko school isa ne say akola no ko school a di obedi edin even after paying for the child's fees di obedi kura no edin enti osanso the free school feeding here dey e buy and no and a numbers no a triple year at the primary school level and quickly moved towards the junior high school level. So when President Kufuor brought FQ, there was a challenge, if you recall. That was when basic education infrastructure and also difficult because of course now kola neko school no so into that classroom blocks no so and no so into by the time of President Kufuor ebia se obia banko school no na fe kola eco school na do so say school dan ho and no in the ma President Kufuor the HIPC fund sika no bebre na ACC HIPC school adan across the country into na bebia be fe bia ubemu school dan atro constructed by HIPC fund HIPC initiative even then when Kufuor removed cost as a barrier this country experienced infrastructural crisis because logically no that is what is going to happen so when you cost ni free ho na so bia baby pe inkonya be shorty school adan be shorty now the question is do you say it's an say school adan na shorty na inkonya shorty nti chichinati minki ankola ni bi no montre fie na hwan ba na ntine fie na hwan ba na be school the MPP government then decided to say no we are not going to allow anybody's child to stay at home every child should have access to basic education. We are going to pay for their fees and we are going to feed them in addition. Enti obia be school baby say shift system baby ankola na betra mbom 3 within that period no na President Kufuor e the HIPC sika no ACC school dan no across the country enunti ena by the time I do 2008 no now we can all attest to the fact that the numbers at the basic level had doubled or tripled. And they, the same MPP are buying abato education and not truck crown are buying to me Fabi Mankola. MPP are buying at the junior high school level no has added 1,791 junior high schools. And ya building aka existing ones no. You see schools keke. You see schools no so you see schools with modern facilities. And you can look at this. This is a model basic school. We and your private school, and your buying school. This is the model schools, the new system that this government is introducing to our basic education. These are young junior high school students sitting in a lab, a modern lab, and learning hands-on. We are preparing our children for the future. We are making sure that our children are ready for what is ahead of them. So they can compete with the Japans, and can compete with the Chinese, and can compete with Malaysians. Say, and almost here, this is a junior high school lab. A lot of us here say media dance say, yeah, called GHS. Now we ladies and gentlemen, this is the next chapter of Ghana's junior high school education. And it's very important, say, we all come to agree and accept, say, baby, we have to protect this. This is again, we have to protect. Now, if we going into the future, moving forward, the kind of JHS I see my way, and no maybe year chairman, way and yet 3D, way and yet green book, way any paper. So this is a building that is actually happening in this country. Junior high school are buying ACA as a university. That is the kind of buildings that the next chapter of Ghana's junior high school education is bringing to us. I didn't think I could be called GIS. Otumiko test school day mu FM. I don't know could call a friend say Lenkana. Otumiko test school day FM. Na abaya ono wosika. Esi yankwan kremiano. Yede Gorgeousburg U L classroom block na yesi mayemba na okowura classroom mu a fan kra mpo ebo ho kra mpo no enye dwuma bebre na kra ni bi ceiling crampono omu nibi. Why can't we think and get into the future? That is what this government has started. That is what we are doing. And that is why we are saying that it must be protected. It must be protected. And in protecting it, your vote is what will count. Let's look at the video of the new model schools that we are building for the junior high schools.
Undertaken by the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo-led administration in Ghana's education sector has significantly improved access to quality education and created better learning environment for students across the country. The commitment shown by both President Akufo-Addo and the Minister for Education, Honorable Dr. Yaosei Educhum, underscores their dedication to advancing education as a cornerstone of national development. These videos and pictures shows how these buildings used to be and how they've been transformed.
The next chapter of Ghana's JHS, the next chapter of Ghana's junior high school, and Amushi. We and yet 3D. We a school dia abai SCSC ho. And this is the type of junior high school, sir. The next chapter of Ghana's junior high school education. Yeba BC Afa Ghana half and engineer. We know can say 11 of these buildings have been built across the country. Say and a year fa your junior high school education no ako. And this gain must be protected. Ejuma BC no esi a bon by esi a protected. In Korea Ushomi, they also deserve to sit in such classroom blocks. Just as their rich counterparts, no, they also deserve to sit in such classroom blocks. Yaya we nyina no. Ye dis adwumadi we nyina no. Na ye hwe teacher for adwuma mu nsem, hwe teacher for kanko, hwe teacher for ayebe form se na be ya nkola no so adekire mu na adesue mu no benya teacher for akere omade. Teacher for dodo a aban afa mu efi 2017 ekopim 2023 and Amushi. In the year 2017-2018, yefa teacher for mukra diploma and almost about 14,170, graduate 9,100, non-graduate 10,540, non-teaching staff 1,445, total 35,255. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Now, eto de bia ade baako a ye na ehun nsem ka edim pa ebusuafo ene teacherfo aketua mu nsem na aha no menka ya sembi ade baako a ye opponent ne ade pa ne se ye ya emfa ho ade bia aban ya ye omo de ye ya ne akofa exchange rate ene ya ne akofa inflation enokre. As a matter of fact, and let me put it on record here, exchange rate and inflation in some every the year 2022 bepe mundeno a hard dream, and this government has not run away from it. What we have rather done is to continuously work with the citizens and stakeholders to ensure say we get it fixed and fixed once and for all. Very important, but also very important for us to note to say the difference between a good government and a very bad government, and say abai no oyeno say or how bit say inflation near exchange rate a bar or make sure say or the near matutu akwemu ekushin ejumayeni no send the beya ejumayeni no enko kan bebre. And I'll prove to you here on this screen. More teachers are almost 2 categories: principal, superintendent, a rank with teachers omo ejumani, and a assistant director 2 and no see a rank. As of December 2016, teacher near or your principal superintendent now the pay I the man 1,351. A principal superintendent as of December 2016 was earning 1,351 cedis. 1,351 cedis. As at ene principal superintendent 2024 or just 3,699 into what calculate the difference. No? What it means is that say aban jutu musa inflation na kosro enti nyama bo ayedi enti wa make sure say obeto akatua nim akodum pempenso bia empo eno nya akatua anka say ye hwe pa ese se unya obi enu na ketua so no from private sector to public sector juma ni bia ye de ane se mbe bia ye juma ye press ye benya ketua ni bia kan no kre no doubt about that na mom sika ukra no in 2016 aketua na etua wo no ade ananka wo to na ya no se ade ne bo aye den ne enti to aba na yi aban ne gu no ene usika na ukra no etumi to saade no more dodo essence na nanka obeto in 2016 no assistant director 2626 and an origin in 2016 ene oje 4453 now akatua mu nsam nyina no de ha ne o purchasing power say aban tua wo ka usika no edie na etumi ye Mr. Moshadi Yemawe. In the year 2016, principal superintendent na yeka on ho asem no. No je 1351. Okoto anwa 5 liters anwa. Sambre no na 2016 yeto anwa no 45 cedis. Inti enei se woni yaro mo kasa de mo ka oyo no ye ya breso na 45 ene 97 ne boy de enokre. Nokre pa ne se na 2016 December na 45 cedis. Ene 97 cedis enokre na mu hwe bibi 2016 no na utumi de wusika na bind ma no eto 5 liter no mako 30 ene a omu tie mu se ne boy de nti to aban ne gu no aban ato akatu enim because aban jitu mu se etse okushi no nti ene the same oil no se ukoto a obeto mako 38. The question is, do you prefer to receive 1351 so you can buy oil at 45 cedis, or even though you don't prefer that it's at 97, at least government has recognized the fact that in times of the difficulties where we are trying to get ourselves out of it, no, on kushino send your beya usikano ebetumi ato ade no ene oto no dodo sense na oto in 2016 no, and this is bare facts. This is truth. This is no propaganda. This is no skewing. This is the matter of facts. 25 liters no na obeto mako ensia 6 ene obeto mako enson enti no kre na 220 cedis ene ko 483, but esa ne sa ban no ewa badaye adwin ehu se wo ho achew kakra esa ne ade na ne boa edinti wama waketua ebetumi ama wato dodo mpo sense ne na wo sie den eto no enti in terms of their waketua na etumi ye in 2016 no kra pa ne se wo hwe basic goods ya etumi ye more ene than your waketua could do in 2016. Bag of maize now better 10 bags and then better 18 bags. Kenke now better kenke so akasa usika no di na ekoto dokuno aboni se odi na ekoto dokuno better mako 675 and better more better 739 into no crepa ne say ampa kenke ne bo akosoro de ne mum aban no dwen wo nti wa make sure say waketua no so ebekọ nedim se ne be obetumi atododo esense na besi atoro no carton of milk and 2016 now we see can betumi ato milk carton mako enwotwe ene ebeto enkono 2016 now we see can betumi ato packet of fruit mienu ene ebeto enan. Principal superintendent now we see can betumi ato assistant director 2 now we see can beto carton of milk Day 9 and nay eto 11. Now we can beto and chance no packet mienu and ne eto 5. Enti no crepa ne say saban nyaya anka ne boa medu sei. Debi enye no na ban hwehwe kra aban ne so ade ho ne say mbre bia ye betoto nioma hyehye nioma se ne be ya niema no ebo no be kofam. Enso busiafo eto de bia leadership there. You meet difficulties and challenges, you meet crises. Who share challenges and difficulties, crisis now? The how you say, only a month for Nekabum ye, Juma, a yim humfi, or how nim, nemo on to, near manon, yina, entering to and same convium, and in doing that, no, aban will ensure say obemma will be kakra cushion wo ho se na be ya odwumedi a wodi no ebetumi akosoro, and that's exactly what this government has done. Ye ka we nyina na ye kono na aban ehhehye niyama ni bi so within the education space. Some we na kai technical and vocational education. Technical school and vocational school. Edru baby no na ye say ye ana ya bon ye say yeti enka no na ye say ye vocational school. Nti ye wie school say ya ye say o mansa de wan ya de onya 23 ye fa no vocational school no nkosua send ye say no aduane ye fa no vocational school no nkosua mechanic ene ya sesa omo ya de for pa nyom ho pa wo sika pa na yom ko technical and vocational ene yi sa wo pesa wo ya de for na wo nya ho pa technical and vocational school nti aban ba no say bebia technical and vocational kodo no. This is not where it's supposed to be. We are supposed to elevate it and make sure say it becomes a lot more nice and lucrative and attractive for the young Ghanaian. Into the such a about technical education to the extent say, and then me know say as I speak to you today, I invested over 6.7 billion Ghana cedis in technical vocational education in Ghana just to ensure say you better pay them. Now, yes, we have technical vocational education. No, according to say Germany, Singapore, Malaysia, Sweden, no more than that. No, okay, Germany. More being pound person because school pano or technical vocational. Because some no baby, you know, baby year cars and their cake and nunti and I buy a technical vocational education. So are you free? Say they will be a baby to my day. I could be now or consua which mean ampanso. If you are buying be more money if you know, and also so I want to say, and Colado do a war school, a peja. Currently, in fact, as of 2016, now the total number of students who are technical and vocational are 41,696 as of 2016, and they a peja boom, a call 157,681, and Mohobeye a 300% also. From 41,000 to 157,000. That is how much the enrollment in technical and vocational education is gone. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the next chapter of technical and vocational education. We have moved on. Long have we moved on from that type of technical and vocational education that is disregarded. We are doing modern, hands-on technical and vocational education training in this country. These are real images are a one my woman. Yes, we are more technical and vocational. This is what you have. This is what you have. In fact, more video be cry me watching and be simami no na me and say on the technical and vocational. This is the next chapter of Ghana's technical education. Today, there were almost about 6 or 7 automobile companies or more assemble cars. Toyota for you assemble cars. Renault for you assemble cars. And say yes, your friend is saying automobile companies in no more assemble cars. And the who be here say you be my man so are you ready? Say the bear a new man a what's our space on between heading and you be. Maybe you video be at them. And this video shows you where this government is taking technical and vocational education. Watch a video now. You would realize this is the future of vocational training and technical training.
No, the same thing
I see a boy who buy. I see a protected sal legacy way. I see a consolidated gains way. I see a consolidated gains way. This is the future. These are young people who are readying themselves to compete with every young person anywhere in the world. Whether you're from Malaysia, whether you're from Japan, whether you're from Indonesia, whether you're from Thailand, the young Ghanaian is ready to face you. The young Ghanaian is ready to compete with them. And this is what will help to fix the industrial base of our economy that we are all fighting for as a people. The next chapter of technical vocational education is here. and it must be protected. Yeko yenimuno. Yeko yenimuno bisafo. In doing all of these things, there is a very important subject matter. I don't know me did say yen to me wie na de. Ye be ye na ye wie na china. Ye yaba next week at the next episode. But it's important that we introduce that subject matter now. Embrana President Kufuor launch F Cube. The BHM a few minutes ago no. Embrana President Kufuor launch F Cube. No ama basic education I free no. A lot of people today, most of them are in the opposition, say it wasn't possible and Ghana wasn't ready. And that the constitution said we should make it progressive. So what is the rush? But the evidence is that immediately President Kufuor introduced FQ enrollment at the basic school tripled. Numbers no be course primary school, numbers no be dorso, GHS be dorso. Now the school feeding be can honti. Obi aba, we need excuse. Someone found banana ko school and say we na timo den because excuse be any ho. E say oba no ko school ni bi. And now the President Kufuor year in the year 2008. Nana Danko Akufo-Addo ehun say with what President Kufuor has done, any they are introducing the see anhwe year, this country is about to face a crisis at the senior high school level. Enunti oshase say obo de ro. Okay, in the year 2008, Nana Akufo-Addo started preaching in 2008 the BBB edwidie. Say enkwale nyina ye nkwala no ma wofo hia mmoa anso motumi akọ basic school. Enunti omampeni Kufuor ba ni ye free omu nyina etumi akode a ene san nkwala nyina hia mmoa anso motumi akọ senior high school. Nti esese ye make sure say omunso menya ho kwan no omunso maye den omakobi aden nti ne sese yetumi wo man a ye be pre bibia na yasa pre adesua anya hwe krampo no adesua de anahomasua de esese ye basic fundamental obia nya ho kwan no ntumi nkobi na ye nyina yakọ wie a na senso suna bi bebe mu a yenim se me na mentumi amfa de amesua ye na ye den anya adwuma nti edru baby no na Nana Danko Akufo-Addo wahaha oka ho asem because nkwala yi nyina so were coming to the senior high school na say ohia mbo anse tumi akọ basic school dia adenti na ohia mbo anse wakọ secondary school. So it was quite obvious, so we needed to make provision for that. Again yankasa ye man yi mu no unim say senior high school education ne bo eden esen primary and GHS no. It is a primary GHS kwa we nye sika nkwa na secondary school no be nye sika eden akọ enuti na 2008 na Danko Akufo-Addo say o preach say anke beya based on evidence abanti no anke yema senior high school so ye den enye free ye kan ye no momi yentie the opponent no they are omo kan ye ya no fo ye no yom wo hoye a omo se ye nto aba mombra no momi yentie omo kan ye. I can tell you say that was the time na NDC for omo nam krom omo ye demonstration. In fact, at some point they were even demonstrating against a policy that had not been introduced. So policy afena na candidates no a preachers or the beba no omo ya advert mako 40 edit as our policy and say it's not possible. That how can you pay for the senior high school fees for every Ghanaian child? That is not possible. Omo ya advert in fact demonstrations that was when they were marching on the street. Free education 419, free education 419. They actually did that as a political party. Then they went on to hold press conferences against the free senior high school. In fact, NAIBM, the same general secretary of the NDC, general secretary of Fair press conference was say free senior high school a 419 policy. They poo-pooed this policy. They fought against it. They said it was not possible. And omodin contemporanean training nada 91 omwini 2008 elections. Ladies and gentlemen, between the year 2008 and 2016, in Kola close to about 100,000. You know, can't if you're to school. Through no fault of theirs. Because I can tell you for a fact to say, na school fees, you know, any secondary education, no bo ed. And these children, omo yan Kola na ko for school fees amo free as amo medunedi. Enti eba ne say na sa Kola no ko first can no he no they are secondary school. Mome yehwe what was happening at our senior high school at that time. What some of the headmasters were actually saying, and what was happening to our children in the senior high school at that time. Just look at this and tell yourself why we had to wait for that long before opening access for our children at the senior high school level.
Moving on to education now, and school authorities at the St. Aquinas Senior High in Accra have threatened to sack final year students who do not pay their fees by Monday, April 27, despite a GES directive to allow them to write the West African Senior School Certificate Examination.
344 out of 415 final year students owe fees to the tune of 130,000 cedis.
We have threatened the students. I, the headmaster, threatened them that if they do not pay, then in the other way, the best method I can do, the last one is just to get them out of the class.
The school authorities say they are handicapped and fear students may not pay fully their fees before completing the course.
We're owing about 1.3 billion old Ghana cedis. And as of now, we talk about maybe about 20% might have finished paying their fees. And so it means we need to find a way to get the money, because maybe we may be dragged to the Public Accounts Committee for the existing debt that appears in the school.
But this is contrary to the directive from the GES for schools to allow candidates to write the West African Senior School Certificate Examination.
Moving on to education now, and school authorities at the St. Aquinas Senior High in Accra have threatened to sack final year students who do not pay their fees by Monday, April 27, despite the GES
directive. This is the situation now. Near Manuum. Young Colano was secondary school. No, this is the situation. And you miracles are making. You not about me and Nekau. And you MPP and Neku for the Nekau. This was our reality. This was our situation. This is what our children were going through at the senior high school level. This is the situation we are in, and that is why it was very critical. Say, as a country, we have to do something about this, because you have any education, you have any idea. So we are this free more be ni mubium. The ekeke nyina ndiye ne fapem any idea. The more educated citizens we have, the faster we grow as a country. Na DNF say obewa banya obepese odi nyoma opia betumi nya ho faso ebeba eto de bi ne ka wa ka be fisi e kama na broso do no krepa ne say amanfo brewo ipe hiambo wo obi enya na nka ne ba be ko bi wo enso okofa ne obi enya nka ne ba nso be shatare ne bi wo enso okofa ne adenti ene yem ma ho kwan na bibi papa se no yem mo ho ban ne yem famba ewieye prekope obeka akola na ocho lete ekoma o mampeni dada John Dramani Mahama no ene mu bi o University of Ghana mo kai sa lete no anamba se san hwe bi mo me yen san hwe sa lete ni bi ne yen komra ne medi ngomo.
Dear Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, good evening, sir. My name is Shadrach Ishen and I come from Kujukrum in the Western region. Sir, in my young life of 15 years, I have tasted hopelessness, seen the benefit of health insurance and the pain of health insurance being taken away. I have also seen the promise of free education, and now I live in fear of free education being cancelled. I come from a family of 8 siblings. In my home, we had to toss a coin to ascertain who went to school because my parents could only pay for one child. Today, all my siblings and peers from my village are in senior high school. I never dreamt that I, the son of a taxi driver from Kujokrum, will attend Accra Academy. My friend from the village, whose father is a shoemaker, is now in Presec. Yes, Presec in Legon, Accra. Your Excellency, my story is real. I am not acting. I, the boy from Kujokrum, is now the captain of the Accra Academy soccer team and the sports prefect as well. Again, my name is Shadrach Ishen. You can cross-check. With all due respect, sir, were you not a beneficiary of free education, although you came from a privileged background? So then why are we, the children of the poor, not good enough? Why do you want to abolish free SHS in any shape or form? Sir, today in Ghana, you will not find any boy of school-going age assisting a shoemaker as I used to do. Your Excellency, the human resource capacity free SHS is building will make Ghana a first world country in my lifetime. Or perhaps is it because an educated generation will not accommodate empty political promises, but sir, that is what Ghana needs, an educated people. Sir, a true leader is one whose ideas outlive him. Free SHS is not that simple. It's a destiny shift. Dear Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama, good evening, sir. My name is Shadrach Ishen and I come from Kujokrum in the Western region. Sir, in my young life of 15 years, I have tasted hopelessness, seen the benefit of health insurance and the pain of health insurance being taken away. I have also seen the promise of free education and now I live in fear of free education being cancelled. I come from a family of 8 siblings. In my home, we had...
It's a reality. Gentlemen, we. Oh no. Anka every senior school. Anka waka Kujokrum. Anka waka. Ene. Or University of Ghana. Yede nebe baha. Yede nebe baha. Ene na watch na muna mwe na yenye nedi nkomo. Na yehu how a vibrant life like this gentleman was going to be destroyed but for intervention by government. You will good. Your bauxite, your cocoa. I don't need to infer. I don't say you didn't see this as a cano. Ebeshe, your friend is saying, Yankolano. Abrantiwi. There are hundreds of thousands of other children on Montesano. You should video is.
14 years when I dropped out of school because I was pregnant. That was in the year 2009. I was 14 years by then. So since then, when I had my first child, I was having this desire to go back to school. But because of financial constraint, I was hawking to provide for myself and for my child. So I decided I would go back to school. So as I was preparing, I got pregnant again because I was staying with a man. So I had to drop that desire again and start all over. But along the line, I had the desire that I wanted to go back to school. And unfortunately, I got pregnant the third one. Yes. But after that, I decided I would go to school. So I left the man and I started my life. From there, I started selling to provide for myself and the children. And many people were advising me that I was brilliant, that I should go back to school. So I took the bold step and I went to so-called Bogame MAGHS Form 2. That was 2018. And in 2019, I wrote my BEC and I passed. I was admitted in Maoli School, which was last year. I want to thank the government. I know it's not only me that is going through this, and because of the free SHS, I've come back to school. There are a lot out there. To me, it is a good thing. It is a good thing, and I thank the government. I want to become a midwife. It is a good thing, and I thank the government. Yes, when I dropped out of school because I was pregnant. That was in the year 2009. I was 14 years by then. So since then, when I year 2009.
Osha Branty, young lady here. Canada way. Young girl. I want also opportunities and also a baby be a man. Canada way. Canada way. Ebusiafo. We need to protect and consolidate our gains. Yema yeho kwai. Na ye will be bimpo ebeya. Mo de mo mayem protect no. E protect we are na de akebia yetime. Amayen to wengu. Amayen to wengu. Thursday Yawada. Free senior high school story no. Yawada nkasa. Ene ebeka hosem. Like I said, this is the next chapter. Pure facts, no propaganda, no insult, no lies. Every Ghanaian deserves the right to know and have a basis to vote. And what we'll do here is to put out the real issues and nothing else. Yeah, the media houses are Oma Peke ene program ne domu nyina ase. Bebre na first almost 1 person ka ho. Next week Yawada. We did say a lot more media houses to join. Adom TV ase, Eda Angel TV, Eda Oman FM, Eda Net2 TV ase. Eda Net2 TV ase. And also almost about 22 community radio stations. Eda Wontumi TV ase. Yada Movement TV, yada ABC TV ase, yada Energy TV ase, Achemansa TV, FM yada mase, Adansie FM, Heritage, German Radio yada mase, Ketri, Subampa, Ahwenepa, Maka Energy Radio yada Afima FM, Bosumi FM, Okoli FM, Virgin City Radio, Osikene Republic, Duyapa, Nkomo Glory, Icon, VOV Radio. Any 1,100 information centers are enumerate my picky programming na yadamase. We a chassis a free a copy December 7th. We would not allow a single falsehood to survive in our political space. The ayaye yebeka honsem. The yen to me ye yebeka honsem. You be any swadi huono yebeka. Thursday. Yebetoa education in common so. Be free senior high school in seminum. Yevia near the Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, any swadi whom any baby or peso peja baby a yedri econo. Ye de no so abetuja. Ye damasi bebre. Semase mumbre. Any ye dun common in your way a chassis and me jidi say moving forward no. You bet me I engage even a lot more than we have done today. As we go to bed today, let's pray for the MPP government. Let's pray for Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. And let's pray for the future of this country. Makramo.